Hi, I'm Julia, and today I'm going to read you a story that is based in early 1900s New England. It's supernatural, it's a little different. I hope you like it. It's called The Light at Templeton. It is a dreary, foreboding night at the inn. It's been open for as far back as the Revolutionary War.
Camera's rolling. We're live.
I can't do it. Okay, fine. There are frightening tales of hooded figures and whispered stories of...
Oh, from the top.
From the top?
Yeah.
It is a dreary, foreboding night at the Inn of Templeton. It's been open for as far back as the Revolution. There are frightening tales of hooded figures and whispered stories of unnatural events. I've heard amongst its guests that these hamlets can remain endowed with a New England funk of gray for weeks, even months at a time. Really, how can I not sulk by these weathered, craggy hills when I look out my window? My mother left me here for Middlebury, for work, she said. For a short while, she said, but I know better. Beside my bed is a picture of Uncle Pete leaning against an apple tree. Its faded, mustard-colored hue makes him appear old, but he was so young. Breaking my thoughts are interrupted by a loud thump at my room door. "Time for supper, Marilla!" "I'll be down shortly, Aunt Leora." "Hurry up about it." That woman is by far like a tack in my shoe, hard-pressed and difficult to remove. If it wasn't for her, I do not believe I would be here. Here I am, though, sullen and kept. It's been 7 months and 13 days wandering about this old place, with its odor of cooked bacon and hard oak smoke from years of fires burning over winters into damp springs. I wish Uncle Pete was here. He'd get me out. But like the others, he's gone now. In the kitchen, Leora sits frumpily in her worn, thin Windsor chair, her fingers thrumming the armrest like a drummer at taps. This is how I find her as I sit down gingerly on the opposite side of the table. She lifts her head to look at me, her bulbous eyes bore a hole through my skull as I look up to meet her gaze. It's time for a story. I can feel it. She's about to unleash on me one more torrid and hateful yarn of how Mr. Crompton, the caretaker, is trying to destroy her inn. Who would want a place as dark and dismal as this? What's here other than that orchard that rolls up and down the hills like disciplined shoulders in formation, and seemingly always at attention? "So it goes, Marilla. I found a piece of my grandmother's old quilt in the back garden wedged under a stone. That old bastard's not going to get the best of me, I'll tell you. He's not." Leora swipes a piece of black, greasy hair that has fallen across her forehead. She grins and bares 2 crooked teeth jutting out from her bottom lip. I push my chair back a few inches to distance myself from her foul and rotted breath. I hurriedly eat my barely warm fried potatoes and ham. I choke it down, swallow hard. Make my excuses and leave, and scurry to the solace of my room. The dull hiss and knock of steam radiators warming the inn is all that I hear, settling in on this cold night to come, and to come to pass by the morning light. It is growing dim in my room as the sun sets behind the orchard and the hill it rests upon. Out my window I see shadows that play on the apple trees. The wind is picking up. It looks menacing as they dance and bend like swords ready to strike. Out the corner of my eye I spy a hunched figure slowly walking towards the barns. It's too small to be Mr. Crompton. That man is the size of a bear. Perhaps a wayward guest looking for a room to let. I open the windows and give a shout. "Hey there! If you're looking for a room, the inn is over here." The figure quickly disappears behind a bulky roll of hay left by the barn door. The evening light is faded to black, not even any stars. Only a sliver of moon hangs down beside the silo. I don't think he heard me. I call out again. "If you need a room, come this way." Met with only silence, I become very afraid. "Leora!" I holler from my room. "Leora!" Leaving my room, I sweep through the house yelling for her. As I make my way to the first floor, I hear a thundering crash like splintering wood, and then a scream that sends shivers down my spine. I run down the hall and descend the narrow steps which lead me to the kitchen. The only light I see is a warm glow of orange from the wood-burning cook stove. I smell a sweetness that fills my body with delight and relaxation. Apple, blueberry, pear, tart blackberries, and the smell of cinnamon is intoxicating and sweeter still. I should be scared, no, terrified, but oddly I'm not. I feel warm and safe, like when I spent summer months by the lake in Addison. My trance is broken by Leora, who's standing in the corner shadows watching me like an osprey, and I am the fish. Marilla, come child, follow me. I feel compelled to follow her, and I do. She leads me to the doorway that goes down to an old fruit cellar, a place I've always feared to go. Leora opens a small wooden door. It groans against its hinges and opens with a pop. An old and broken railing glitters white and sparkles like jewels on the inside. Looking further down, I see a small figure with a limey green glow at the bottom of the rusty iron steps. Before I can get the words from my lips to stop her, Leora sweeps down these steps and disappears somewhere beyond the glowing light. I stand at the top, 1 foot poised to make my first step. A darkened light bulb swings back and forth from its cabled line above my head. It begins to become bright and brighter still. Curls of smoke seep from its silver rim. Sparks fly and snap. I want to turn back now, but yet I stand here with my legs as heavy as a planted tree and arms unarmored without a weapon in hand. I close my eyes to shut out the light and think of days better than these. Thank you for listening. Remember, good thoughts, good words, good deeds.